It's 2 p.m. Central African Time. Good afternoon and welcome to Market View with me, Sifiso Umalo. Coming up on the show, Finance Minister Neil Reichenbach's budget speech is still the prevailing conversation. We look at reactions by the business community through the lens of business. Eswatini's President Vuselelo Fagutse, who also shared how the budget speech will have an effect on the banking sector. But that's a conversation that we will develop with our in-house business journal, Nelsuwe Ndlangamandla. Now, the Youth Chamber of Commerce Industries has also commented over the allocation of funds towards youth development. We will hear from the President, Sakile Nsibanze. Outside of the budget speech, we will look at a story by the Center for Financial Inclusion, which is working towards finding ways to reduce operating costs for farmers. We'll then wrap things up with economist Sanele Sibiya taking us through the latest financials. Let's start the show with business news. Now, for our first story, the Youth Chamber of Commerce Industries, Eswatini, says the money allocated to the youth in the budget speech should be used for research, as they believe that this will inform the direction that has to be taken in empowering the youth in entrepreneurship. The President, Sakile Nsibanze, says they appreciate the effort that has been put by government in this year's budget to ensure that the youth of Eswatini develops.
The allocation of 70 million towards the Youth Enterprise Development Fund is a positive step. The Youth Chamber urges efficient and transparent disbursements of these funds to ensure they reach deserving young entrepreneurs. We would appreciate if the government would help us towards investment in market research and the development of value chains that will be youth inclusive. Because you find that oftentimes when a young person starts a business, they do not have the right kind of research. So that's why most startups fail in the country. But if we'd address the issue of research, I think we would have given the young people in business a good stepping stone to actually go ahead with sustainable business.
The Center for Financial Inclusion says it is investing all efforts into helping farmers reduce operating costs, as well as securing funding for small and medium enterprises under the FinClude project. The Cluster Development Officer, Sibusiso Motsa, said this during the training of farmers in the Hoho region on the available opportunities in the market, which was held at Sibanesami Hotel, Ezulwini.
One aspect that the project is trying to address is the market. What we have done, most of our markets are not willing to provide a contract, but we are trying to foster a relationship with NAMPOD, who is the main market for our farmers. There have been challenges in the past. Farmers have been complaining about the markets with late repayment. So such platforms are there to address those challenges, how we can foster relationships among farmers and the markets and try to address those challenges. Through FinClude intervention, we've seen an increased uptake of contracts that are being offered by NAMPOD. One of our challenges from the farmers is that they pay much in terms of production cost, which one of them is the input supplies, which in the past year you will remember that a cost of a 50 kg was 1,000 rand. So coming together here, we want to foster farmer input supply relationships where we are saying once farmers are grouped together, they can then be able to buy in bulk, which will enable the farm input shop to offer a discount, which will then reduce input costs, thus production costs will be reduced too.
That's it for our business news. We'll go for a net break. We return with sentiments shared by the business community on the budget speech from yesterday. And then our in-house journal will join us. Nelsuwe Ndlangamandla, don't go anywhere.
Renewal of TV licenses for 2024 is now open. Here is a quick reminder. A viewer's TV license costs 180 emalangeni per device. Other accessories such as decoders and set-top box cost 50 emalangeni per device. For traders and repairers, TV license costs 300 emalangeni per business area. And now, to pay your TV license, use these following methods. You can use MTN Mobile Money with the number 762222000 or dial *007 *3 *7 hash. Or you can use Eswatini Imali. And you can pay our TV license at any post office in the country. Another option is you can use any Nedbank branch using our TV license account number 119900430037. Don't forget, when paying for your viewers' TV license, reference with your PIN at all times. And when paying for a retailer TV license, reference with your TIN at all times. For more information, call us on 7802-4543 or 34050163 or 34020879. And you can send us a WhatsApp message on 762222000.
Be sure to catch Business Watch every Wednesday between 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., where we feature the latest updates on business news, market trends, and exclusive interviews with industry leaders, as well as insights on emerging small and medium enterprises in the commercial sector. Business Watch, your business leader.
We're 7 minutes into our program today. Let's continue with the show. The business community says the budget presented by Minister Neil Reichenberg is a progressive one and it will foster economic growth. The chairperson, Vuselelo Fagutse, said this in reaction to the budget speech by the Minister for Finance yesterday. Let's hear Mr. Vuselelo Fagutse.
We are very optimistic. It looks like a very expansionary budget that will take care of the various sectors of society. We see a bigger allocation to the health sector, to the education sector, which is where, as a country, a lot of investment, 17% of the budget is going to education, 10% is going to health. That's a lot of money compared to the total budget. So these are very important sectors for the country, and we believe that the continued investment in health and education is going to generate activity in the economy, but also create jobs in the education sector. We've heard of schools running short of teachers. We believe that this budget is going to create opportunities for government to employ more teachers to help with teaching, more nurses in the health sector, but also services to the hospitals. We've heard of hospitals running out of medications and all that. So this budget allows the country an opportunity to ensure that the service provision in the health sector continues to be strong, and that Maswat in general can continue to rely and depend on the government for those services. But also we also believe that as a private sector we have a role to play in supplementing government's activity in this, and by the investments that are already going on in the mining sector, in the energy sector. There's a lot of money that the energy sector is looking for, so we can generate our own power. So as a private sector, we have a big role to play in those sectors as well. And as Business Eswatini, we're really proud of the government of the day for the expansionary budget that they've presented, and we hope that it will pass in Parliament and run into execution. However, I heard that His Majesty has said we must run at pace to ensure that we counter the unemployment that exists in the country.
Business Eswatini's President, Mvuselelo Fagutse Nelson, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
As he's talking, I sense that he's very excited,
Yes.
as everyone else is. Only a few people are not excited, if there are any, to be honest. But my worry then becomes, nearly every year when we have a budget speech, we see excitement, particularly around kukhula kwalama allocations. I do remember last year, Minister of Finance nakatsi inyukile imali yaga health yabang 2.76 million, or rather billion. There was a lot of excitement around that. This year we've seen a 240 million increase to this allocation. There's excitement still, but you look back at the previous year and all the issues that engulfed the health sector, one has to be worried. Nagathi nje uya-analyze lokwendeka. We went from excited for the allocation to worried at everything that then culminated during the course, of imisebenzi yonke lebekufuna ukuthi yenziwe. Similarly, under the education and training sector, 5 billion lesimbonako lo nyaka, an increase, exactly 1.04 allocation. We're excited yet again, but yes, abekhona milestones. I think Minister Neil was sharing it all. How do we ascertain that in this financial year, next year, angeke sibe sikhala ngeke ukuthi sibone inkinga letinengi letisibangela ukuthi kube bede intuthuko kuleti nhlangothi letikhona in these different sectors?
Thank you so much, Sfiso. Ngivusele mbukele ekhaya. Lokukhulu lokukhulu lakhulume ngako uhulumende yindzaba yekuthi avale ema loopholes ku corruption. I-corruption can ground the economy because nangabe uhulumende afaka imali letingaka utawukhanza ukuthi nangabe solo iyachubeka i-corruption. We've seen it ku central medical stores, which is one of the issues government latsite vele utawasebenta. So I-Transparency International, Eswatini, stands at 33.3% against a global average of 48.4%. That's Transparency International 2022. 48.4% of on corruption against the global average of 48.4%. So government is introducing finance reforms where e-procurement, where it will be easier to track ukuthi impahla ya hulumende ithengwe kanjani. So corruption ngiyo legcina eyendela sive phasi, ema services agcina ngakafiki kuso sive. But we are hoping with the budget minister that he has tabled yesterday, those issues will be addressed.
Kude ndzaba lenkulu, Minister Neil Itolo uthi the theme for this budget speech is ngwe ekuthenini indzaba lenkulu kutaba ukuthi kubuketwe i-growth kule financial year lena. And one of the highlights that has made a lot of Eswatini, particularly the youth, excited indzaba yekuva ukuthi kuna 65 million emalangeni that has been allocated endzabeni kwekuthi ku-convert thishela from being temporary to permanent and pensionable. Uvetile ke Minister ukuthi last year alone, about 790 something teachers were converted from temporarily to permanent and pensionable. But you want to look at the number of graduates labakhona. Statistic nje saseNkwane College last year babeng 570 laba graduated, and that's last year alone. The previous year bebang 355, and the previous year bebang 215. Le nombolo soliyakhula yalabo teacher laba graduator. Kutibona kungeteka 69 million nyalo ekuthenini ba convert. Ngabe kufuna eMaswati abe excited kangakanani? Ngabe kuba niketa insaya lenganani futhi belitiko la education ukuthi kube indlu labayisebenta kahle lena nombolo tikhula?
The Minister of Education, Nagangena, he said he will make sure ukuthi bothishela labo labakuma contracts baya confirm. But the other problem, we've talked to the TSC last year. They stated ukuthi there is an influx of teachers. Yes, there is an influx because most colleges now are producing tishela, and there are courses la hamba gonyalo sebo maths nabo science because ukhanza ukuthi khona mhlawumbe bathatha lakbo year 2015 uyabo kanti ngale basebaningi basesele emuva because baningi kakhulu. Ukhanza ukuthi kufuneka botishela be maths ne science kukhona ema combinations la ngasasebenzi, but the TSC is saying when we try to talk to these colleges, these tertiary institutions, what they are telling us is we are not producing for Eswatini only, we are producing for SADC, for Africa. So that is the challenge. This is a good move by government, but also I feel like there should be that talking between the institutions. What is it that government wants?
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what mitigating factors the Minister of Education is going to find regarding this particular problem that we have just spoken about. But I just want us to listen to Mr. Mvuselelo Fagutsa again, speaking on the effect that this budget speech is going to have on the banking sector. Sorry.
The budget strengthens the sector in that the minister has continued to put money aside for the stabilization fund, which is at the central bank. That liquidity sitting at the central bank is a lot of money. but it also ensures that the reserves for the country are at an adequate level to make sure that imports can be paid for. But also, we always have this panic when reserves run below 3 months. And this budget, by ensuring that the reserves are increased, we believe that the government will be able to meet its obligations in the short term. But also it means that government will have the cash to make payments to suppliers, because we also hear of suppliers getting delayed or getting payments later than they should. We believe that with the strong budget and a properly financed budget, government will be able to pay their suppliers and make sure that both the private sector and the public sector continue to function. We do expect, for instance, government employees' remuneration, because that project has been coming up for a long time. We do expect a review of their terms and conditions of service, and when that happens, we hope that additional money going into individuals, that's going to help them counter the inflation that's been high over the years and the cost of living that's been high over the years. So we're very, very positive as a private sector, and we hope that we continue to work with government and support their activities. In the banking sector in particular, liquidity means that we will have more money in the banks that we can also advance to customers. So whether people are building their homes or businesses are expanding their operations, additional liquidity means that as banks we can also play a meaningful role in that. And a lot of the money, remember, sits in the banking sector. So we are going to be seeing it, and we are going to be engaging our customers, those that work with government and those that also are in the periphery. We will ensure that the money that's going to be in the economy is utilized for economic development.
Yeah, such great sentiments there from Banking Association's president, Mr. Mbuselelo Fakutseneli. He's speaking on the fact that this will have a really, really great effect on their reserves, which will have a great ripple effect once again on suppliers, and even better for the general liswati litawufuna kuyawuthatha i-loan lapha litawukhanza ukuthi timali tikhona, kukhona kwakha tindlu emakhaya, kukhona. A lot of economists always say kusebenzisa i-loan emabhange vele is the right way to go about it than kuseva imali kakhulu, ngoba utakhanza ukuthi kude nalokwendile nalamabhange akasakhoni kufanishina kahle. How helpful is this to the Banking Association?
He talked of financial liquidity. He says if kune financial liquidity eveni kusho ukuthi kutawuba easier ku-operator kwetinhlangothi letahlukene, even the private sector, nabo somabhizinisi. So we know the central bank has said the public debt as a percentage of the GDP, of the country's GDP, yehlile kakhulu, which means government has been able to pay ema debts abo somabhizinisi lapha eveni. Lokuyinfo lenhle kakhulu leyo. We see that government is really committed to ensure ukuthi astikhanzi silive sisetingingeni tetimali.
Yeah, kunenzaba lenkulu ye-contingency fund lebe na 200 million allocation. This is one of the big stories so far this year that is excited Sive Semaswati Nelsiwe. Engabe briefly kutasita kangakanani lokho, because here's another thing, and I think this is something that we have deduced from the speech from the throne. We have seen COVID-19. We saw the civil unrest. We saw ukuthi kufuneka bo reconstruction fund, ema funds lokubese ukuthi we recently just saw simo selitulu lesifike naso senta inkinga lenkulu lapha eveni, kwatholakala ukuthi kude ema-funds bekabekiwe kuhlangabeda kahle letimo lethu. Silo semhlaba ke sibe sesithi asalo kwakhiwa sikhwama lesitawubona nje tehlakalo letawuba khona. Engabe lokho kufuna kusi-excite kangakanani?
It is very exciting because it shows that government is very, very concerned about social protection. But lekumele ukuthi sikwadi isifiso letikhwama tisetandleni tethu, because sibonile ku reconstruction fund sekwendiwa bo fraud. We should be very careful not to do that, because sestibulalela thine. So these funds are meant to help us, and it's up to us ukuthi siqinisekise ukuthi asigcini sesti abuser bese kulimala sonke sive ngenfo lebe ide itosita thina.
Kusetandleni tethu. I like that sentiment. Thank you so much, Nelly, for joining us. Funa at break nyalo sambe siyawunathe manje sitabuya siqoqisane naSanele Sibiya ngama financial markets alomhla.
Residents of Simunye and surrounding areas are notified that intense TV license door-to-door inspections are being conducted in the region. The exercise starts on the 19th to the 28th of February 2024. Stay alert. Our TV license inspectors will be wearing Eswatini TV gear and will have tags that confirm their identity. Don't be scammed. Our inspectors do not ask for cash payments. Pay your TV license only at specified pay points or call us on 34050163 or 78024545 for more information. Alternatively, you can send a WhatsApp message to 76222000 and we'll chat with you. Pay your TV license today, enhance the industry.
Ujala masada mahle kunathi lesa.
Sabatandi ukuthi njengalokho sivile sive sithi khulumeni.
Be sure to catch Business Watch every Wednesday between 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., where we feature the latest updates on business news, market trends, and exclusive interviews with industry leaders, as well as insights on emerging small and medium enterprises in the commercial sector. Business Watch, your business leader.
Welcome back to the program. We connect now with Mr. Sanele Sbia, our economist, through a video link. Mr. Sbia, it's a very good afternoon. Welcome to the program again today. Very interesting developments happening in the financial markets. The biggest one, of course, hearing that Germany is rallying to the news that Germany has overtaken Japan as the world's third largest economy.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Nimalo, for having me. We can see that playing out actually in the numbers. If you see that the DAX in Germany, it's actually the largest gainer in terms of the stock market movement across the globe compared to UK and the France and Europe, and actually the US. So that is actually on the backdrop of this news that Germany has overtaken Japan as the world's third largest economy, following ukuthi Japan iyangena laphana ku-technical recession kuletinyanga letimbili letengcile. So nyalo iGermany senyona ithembisa kokungathi inekuphuthuma nekwenyuka kakhulu umnotfo wakhona.
Brent trading at 81 today, of course signaling to break below the 80 mark. Engabe, what has affected this?
Loko sikubona kunako ukuthi na ungabuka letindzaba letenteka khona lekhatsi eMiddle East, i-US Israel nawo onke ama-stakeholders mhlaba wonke kwangazuthi kuyathembisa kwangathi kutawuba nekuthula i-truce of some sort la kutawubanjiswana khona ukuthi asekume lokulwa. So sibonile President Biden athembisa ukuthi kutawushaya Monday sekufikiwe ekuvumelaneni. So imarket ke nyona ivumelana naloko ukuthi cha lokungathi seyiyange kubuya phansi le region sekutawuba ngconywana ke ukuthi naleti nama-risk besiwabona ngama-oil sekangeke alleviate-eka. So ngokungazuthi le nthengo ya-oil seyangekuya phansi kancane kulamalanga ngalokuthi sekuyathembisa kuba nekhathi eMiddle East. Yes.
Taking from, that Joe Biden sentiment that you have just said, technical recession, I think it gives us an opportunity now to contrast between the US markets and as well as the UK markets nase Asia.
Yes, nasibuka i-Asia wabona nje market tengathi tinekuba kusiniketa ama-signals laka mixed. Kodwa lokho kubangelwa nakuthi na ungena e-Asia ubuka kahle tinombolo tayo inflation tiphumile namuhla taphuma tithembisa ukuthi le core inflation na ususa kudla ususa nabo fuel ithembisa ukuthi ibe ngaphansi kwa 2%. Lokho kusho ukuthi iJapan seyitawucala ke nyalo siyithembisa ukuthi nayo seyitawuqhubeka ikhule and sekunekokuthi tinkhomba ukuthi seyitawuyekela iJapan lokushaya ema-interest rates ayo laka negative atawubuya ngetulu kwa positive. So imarket seyacala iyakubuketa naloko. Kodwa na ubuka e-US khona imarket tibhekile ukuthi ngalesine i-Federal Reserve Bank itawukhipha i-consumer itawukhipha i-consumer expenditure index leyenyoni itawutshengisa ukuthi ingabe singagadzana kwehla kwama-interest rates. So timakethe tinako lokubuka lokho ukuthi uma ungabuka sinasuka kuJanuwari beyitshengisa ukuthi tindzaba tabo-rent tiyangekwenyuka khona e-US. So imakethe isazama-ke lokubuka lokho iyatibracer for Thursday ukuthi ngabe le consumer expenditure data itawuphuma ikanjani yona. Masingena e-UK siyati ukuthi Chancellor Hunt utawube akhipha i-budget yakhe next week. So nakhona timakethe tinako lokuthi tiyacala tiyabuke tathi ngabe ama-taxes utawenda njani kona alleviate lama-cost of living pressures lakabhekene netindlu lakabhekene nebathengi emakethe. So timakethe nje ungabuka eNgilandi ti-reacta to lawo tinfo leto ukuthi ngabe titawenda njani ngalaphona.
Mr. Sibiya, a better part of our episode today, and I presume a lot of other, production houses, the budget speech lesiyibonile lapha ekhaya usathinzayo indzabe ukuthi nase London babuke logo lapha ekhaya. We see a lot of excitement from particularly the banking sector, the business community, the youth as well, quite optimistic. The health sector, cishe tonke tinhlangothi tijabulile ngemaphakelo endvuna yetemafa neRikenback itolo. Engabe, how has that affected to timakethe tetfu lapha ekhaya?
Timakethe tethu siyatibona totine kuchubeka tenyuke kancane tenyukanyukile kancane kodwa solo tilaphana kulo 472 atikabi ngile tenyuka kakhulu but siyathemba ukuthi titawuchubeka ti-warm up ezichubeka le budget implement sasingena ngakhona ku-April aseyicala isebenta khona sesicala sibona le impact yale capital expenditure seyingena into effect. Sesibona nale tindlela nale kunyuka kweka health naka education sibuke nale tindlela ke te youth lakatifakile minister lapha yana ukuthi singabe tona titawuhamba kanjani but siyathemba ukuthi ezichubeka imakethe ihamba ibuka ukuthi sifika kanjani ku-April taso senilapho ke setikhombisa kujabula kakhulu khona imakethe la ekhaya.
Yeah, indvuna yetemafa itsinza indzaba lebesolo ikhulunyiswa kakhulu nase parliament lephumile ekuthenini in order for us to come back into a sustainable path kufuna ukuthi sibe export driven economy. Engabe sisachubekela embili langeni nasilcomparisha nalamanye ama-currencies, particularly the United States as well as li-euro nel-Japanese yen, sime kanjani lapho?
Siyabona ukuthi lilangeni lethu libe nako ukuthola emandla nalicathaniswa ne-euro liphinde licathaniswa nayona i-American dollar but lokho kuphushwa ngiloko ukuthi le tinombolo letichamuka khona kulawo mavela wona ubuka in terms of the economy lama expectations e-economy kulamalanga ngolenda ngazuthi lilangeni selibene ukuthola emandla ngoba sesebheke nathi info lesikhulume ngathi ukuthi ngalesine sigadze ukuthi kuphume le consumer expenditure data phindze na next week kuphume yona le data le sabe siyigadzi le ye-budget khona in the UK. So lokho kwente ukuthi lilangeni lethu while timakethe disabhizi tibukile ukuthi ngabe kutawuhamba njani with that speculation laba nako kuphakaphaka amalangeni lethu compared to those major currencies across the globe but nje siyabona selibuyile ngaphansi kwa-19 lokuyinfo lenhleke leyo ukuthi liba nekuthola emandla kancane kodwa ke nasikhulumela the-export driven economy sigadze ukuthi bona laba exportako lapha eveni kufuna ngabe bathatha advantage of the fact that lelangeni lethu solwele ngaphansi kwabo 18 lokusho ukuthi lona liya nekuthola emandla but lisengakatholi lamandla lesilibheke ukuthi liwathole libele kubo 15-16 at worst case scenario kube ngu-18 per dollar and kanze ukuthi lapha kubo 20 against the euro lapho selidlalela ngakhonyana kancanyana ngasekhaya kodwa in terms of an export driven economy leli ukuthi kufuna ema-exporters ethu ayathatha advantage of the fact that leli langeni lethu line kuba weak ngoba kwenta leti info tethu kungathi tiyashipha na ubukale emaveni lena but nje sibhekile ukuthi ama-exporters ethu they will take advantage of this but sekungilengeka ukuthi sesikhathi lesidze ncimalo ngoba nabo ufuna phindze ba-import lama-inputs into the production process so khanza ukuthi still vele noma ngabe le dollar liyasivumela asisakhona lokhu-exporta ngale ndlela lebesibheke ukuthi singa-exporta ngayo silive.
And this is why we appreciate your insights, Mr. Sibiya. We hope that our traders will heed to your advice, and we do here with the International Trade Center, Ikona Lapeka, working with the Eswatini Investment Promotion Authority. So we appreciate that. Thank you so much for joining us, Namuhla Elhlelweni, and sibonge nebabukeli labasi bukeli nalo muhla sithembe ukuthi batawusijoyina kusasa on Business Watch. Thank you for joining us. Have a good day.